All right, guys. Yes, we know that NFL is starting this weekend, so an Apex card UFC fight probably takes the background. But still, we have our analysis like we do every week for this card. There are some really fun plays on this particular card, not only on prediction strike but in other markets. So let's dive into it.
All right, so UFC Vegas 97 with Sean Brady. I'm excited. I know you're excited. What's the first one we got here that you want to walk us through? Ija. All right, walk me through this man who has probably one of the most interesting hairstyles I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I mean, we're getting this guy. He's at pennies on the dollar here, 99 cents. His opponent, Gabriel Santos, is $1.34. I think that value kind of loosely reflects most markets' sentiment about this fight, with Yiza being a slight underdog. He is a really good grappler, super powerful. He also has good kicks to manage range. He he literally like multiple times in fights he'll just pick people up, toss them to the ground. Super strong, just lifts up his opponents. Very hard to defend, especially if you just have your feet planted and are striking. Um, he averages 5 takedowns a fight. It's kind of a negative sentiment in regards to his control time, but he does hunt subs. He chain wrestles. People just get up on him because his top control isn't the best. Santos, he's a super aggressive guy too. He throws bombs in like 1-2 combos. Um, will work in some takedowns against the cage once you're backed up after that, and then look for the submission or the ground and pound finish once he has you on the ground. Not a very technical striker at all. Striking is mostly just there to open up the grappling. Yeah, he can definitely be hittable too. He's had virtually no success in the UFC so far. It's kind of a grappler versus grappler match here. Yiza has proven that he doesn't even need the takedowns to get the submission. I think if he creates scrambles here, like I think he's going to do, opens up some grappling exchanges, I think he's plenty good of a grappler to make things happen. So I like him to win here as the underdog.
All right, love it. Moving on to our next fight, Felipe dos Santos. I believe I've seen this man before, and I want to
Yeah,
see.
you probably have. He is a shoot a box guy. He's super aggressive, and he's also more than $1 cheaper than Andre Lima. Andre's $3.62 at the time of making these slides. So good value there. Felipe is an underdog in most markets, so it's not necessarily an arbitrage play like we tend to throw at you guys, but just a straight up underdog play. And yeah, he's shoot a box fighter, meaning he fights out of shoot a box. He's aggressive. He's dangerous. He's super versatile. He's also hittable. Um, he's hit with about 5 significant strikes per minute, which is really high. But he'll just come forward at you. He has an insanely solid chin for flyweight. He can definitely eat shots. And he does have offensive takedowns in his arsenal. Tends to shoot less and less of them as fights goes on, as he tends to gas a little bit. Shooter box fighters tend to gas pretty quickly. He's like that as well. Definitely fades. Um, Altamirano took him down a bunch of times in the last fight, but I just personally think Andre Lima is super overrated. Uh, Super easy strength of schedule. Like he just split decision Mitch Raposo. I think Felipe dos Santos is going to be the far more versatile fighter, a little bit better everywhere. So I like him to win as the underdog in this one.
Right on. All right, moving on to the next one. Rongju versus Chris Padilla. Walk us through this one. How are we supposed to go about it?
This is a tough one for me, honestly. So it's basically a pick 'em here. I don't think that reflects public or the sentiment in most markets. I think Rongzhu is actually the favorite by a good bit in most markets, and Padilla is a big underdog. So inherent value on the Rongzhu side of things, if you think that's who's going to win the fight, actually a lot of inherent value. So if you like him to win, just from your own personal reason, go buy him up. But he's a really good striker, powerful. He is definitely a killer. He doesn't fight well off his back foot, though. He's much, much better when he's dictating the pace of the fight. He averages about 2 takedowns a fight. Um, and hits people at a high rate, still has a negative striking differential, which is hard to do when you're actively looking for takedowns and also striking at a high volume. Still getting punched in the face all the time is like pretty hard to do. And Padilla, well-rounded guy, not amazing anywhere. Comes forward at you like Wrong does, strikes for a bit, and then tries to move into the clinch and work in a takedown. Um, he is a really durable guy, explosive offensive takedowns. Um, top control is even worse than is Dos Santos's. Than Wrong Zoo's. He averages, I think, 10 takedowns per 15 minutes, coming off a short notice win over James Lontop. So Wrong Zoo is on a 4-fight win streak. Aren't really UFC caliber fights, though. He does headhunt. And Chris Padilla does move forward. Chris, I'd say, is very experienced he's had a good strength of schedule for his limited UFC experience. Snatches things up a lot of the time in scrambles. So I think I'm honestly going to pick him against Wrong Zoo. Grant, I'm curious what you think about this one. It's another underdog pick here.
I kind of like Wrong Zoo here.
Yeah.
Especially given the PS value. I feel like that's pretty undeniable. Interestingly enough, Wrong Jew is also what people say when you confuse Jonah Hill with Seth Rogen. So, but yeah, I trust the takedown defense enough here to kind of fend them off, and I feel like the value here is pretty undeniable when you can get a guy who's basically a 2-1 favorite at an underdog price on our app here. So
the value is crazy. It's like, if you don't trust our logic on these, this is literally just an arbitrage play. Go buy shares of Wrong Zhu and you'll be beating the market pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I given your logic though, I feel like Padilla might be a shout in other areas, so I will keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to know. All right, moving on to the next spot. We got Trevor Peek versus Yana Ashmos. How are we supposed to expect this one to go down?
Yeah. So Trevor Peek, I feel like we kind of know him at this point. He's not technical at all. Just has super heavy hands, good cardio, and will just bomb away at you. Is totally okay with taking one to give one. He has an insane chin. Basically, how to beat him is you just keep a fight technical or outpace him. Yanal is a really well-rounded guy, diverse skill set. He normally comes out striking, throws big, heavy-handed shots, and then if he doesn't see success in the striking, he'll adjust to wrestling. He has a pretty solid chin, too. Pretty good top control if he gets takedowns. Peak, like I said, he has crazy pace and durability. That's about it. He's just an absolute dog. Yanal is an actual technically sound, well-rounded fighter. And he does have some power and cardio, too. Like, skill for skill, Yanal is just so much better than Peak here. I'm going to pick Yanal. He's just, I guess, trust the better fighter of the two here. I think he has enough cardio and power to sort of fend off Trevor Peak's forward pressure here. Both of them are tough. Yeah, I'm going with Yanal. He's the better fighter.
Yeah, I am as well. I think as long as he can not get kind of out pressured and feel like he needs to go for a finish or something against a guy with a chin that's going to be able to stay in the fight, I feel like his only mistake here could be just kind of leaving himself open, trying to do too much against a guy who's going to be able to fight through the entirety of this fight, I would assume. I feel like if he just kind of plays his game and lets the fight come to him and is able to let some of that talent show through, I feel like this is a great underdog pick on any consensus format and prediction strike as well. So
yeah,
like the value on the more skilled fighter, I feel like this is a good shout.
Yeah, this play on prediction strike particularly is one I'm really into.
Right on. That said, we move on to the next bout. Matt Schnell versus Cody Durden.
Yeah, so Cody Durden is stepping up on short notice here after Alessandro Costa stepped out of the fight. And I honestly thought Costa was one of the better, just like locks of this card. But oh well, we've got Cody Durden, who is a very good wrestler. Um, and then we got Matt Schnell, who's a vet, kind of a grappling vet, who's been in a ton of wars. He just got put out very quickly in his last fight. He definitely has some skills. Good BJJ. Um, kind of more of a counter striker than anything. He gets hit a lot. He averages less than one takedown a fight and only has 44% takedown accuracy. Um, none of this is to say that Matt Schnell is a bad fighter. Like he's a really good fighter, has looked great. He does appear to be on his way out. I mean, Steve Erceg just like absolutely smoked him.
Yeah, and then Erceg got the title fight right after that, right?
Yeah. And it's like that Erceg loss is aging worse and worse as Erceg keeps fighting. And I don't know. Cody is more so a wrestler. He can knock people out though too. I think he has the tools to get it done in this one. Just kind of put away an old Matt Schnell.
The Durden value here is pretty tough to pass up on, I think. I mean, he's a 5-1 favorite everywhere you find, and you're getting him at underdog pricing. I think if you're looking at a particular method of victory, I like Durden by decision here in this one. I feel like he's going to be able to control a lot of the fight on the ground, and I just don't think Chanel's takedown defense of 50% is going to hold up. I expect Cody Durden's average of takedowns to go up in this fight. I feel like it's a way that he sees he can kind of outpoint this one and take control in this fight. So I like him in the fight in general on PS, and then also a little sprinkle on him by decision, I think.
Do you know what the prop is for that? Because I feel like that's kind of sharp.
I don't. I can find it.
Yeah.
Just start with the next fight, and I'll get you an answer.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, Schnell is a really tough guy. That's why I feel like that's honestly a smart play going Durden.
For sure, yeah. It's kind of the thought process.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on. I think this next fight we have is Kyle Nelson versus Steve Garcia. Bunch of value on the Kyle Nelson side of the things. I believe he is an underdog, or he is the underdog in most markets. Maybe not a full-on 2-1 underdog, but he has been winning and has been looking really good. So is Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia is on a crazy knockout streak, 4 knockout win streak here, which is pretty incredible for how quiet that seems to have gone over, or quietly, I should say. He has good takedowns, can finish you on the ground or standing, even though he's on that knockout streak. He's an aggressive guy, good grappling, well-rounded. It's just like he's just been clapping people. Kyle Nelson, he's a good striker as well. He has some real power. He's been in the UFC for a while now. Nelson has looked really good recently. Like I said, he's definitely evolved his game. Solid takedown defense, does a good job of creating scrambles, does a good job of making fights ugly and just firefights. He's coming off an upset knockout win over Bill Algeo, where he was just applying pressure the whole time. Some people thought that was an early stoppage, but I do think Steve Garcia wins this fight. Not insanely confident in the pick. Like if he gets this, he'll be on a 5-fight knockout streak. That'll be the longest knockout win streak of any of the top 5 in the division. Like, yeah. I don't know how long you can put it on, but low confidence pick, Steve Garcia.
Yeah, on PS, I don't love the price discrepancy there, but I just trust the volume. This feels like a fight that's going to take place standing up, and I feel like Garcia is going to push the pace. You see that significant strikes landed per minute at 5, which is a pretty astounding number. And you've mentioned that that knockout streak. He obviously has the power to do something with those significant strikes. He's not just landing them to land them. And yeah, I just feel like in a fight that's going to be standing up, I trust him more to be able to kind of push things and just kind of go all out. And this feels like a spot where that streak should continue, because I feel like this fight is probably not going to go the distance just based on the nature of it being standing up. I mean, we could see a cagier fight where it's a lot of kind of clinching and things like that, but this feels like a spot for him to be able to continue this electric streak he's been on.
Right on. Moving on to the next squad we got here. Gilbert Burns versus our guy Sean Brady. Seems to be a bit of a positive price difference for Sean here. Walks through this fight here.
Oh no, did I leave
You have the
out?
Natalia fight on here?
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah, should we just go over Andrade versus Natalia
Yeah, we can
Silva real
we
quick?
can just keep it on this screen.
I'll just put it over it. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
have
cool.
the price for Natalia Silva? I haven't looked at it on the desk.
Here, I'll peep real quick. Okay, Natalia is 780. Wow. Let's see, Andrade. She's 1005.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Ooh.
Lock.
Yeah, lock of the week. So we've got Natalia at like $3 cheaper than Andrade here.
Yeah.
She is one of my favorite female prospects right now. Andrade is good too. She has been a contender in the past at multiple different weight classes. Hits really hard, really strong, not technical at all. Is one of those kind of bullying style fighters. Not necessarily a size bully or a weight bully, but definitely a bully. She, we saw her in the title fight pick up Rose and absolutely just slam her on her head. She has demonstrated some technique, though, recently. Looked a little bit better in her striking against Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern. And she'll need it here against Natalia Silva, who's extremely well-rounded, very technical. Tends to, strike technically for a bit before committing to wrestling. She's super well-rounded, good control on top, very powerful for this division. And she's coming off a decision win over Vivian Araujo. I think this is going to be a great fight to sort of see what kind of prospect Natalia really is.
For sure.
She's looked amazing in the UFC, though. And as long as she doesn't allow herself to be bullied by Andrade here, I think she wins comfortably.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add other than the fact that you see a pretty elite group of skills from Natalia Silva. You don't see someone who's that skilled at getting submissions, who's also has 91% takedown defense and can still land 4.5 significant strikes per minute. So you kind of get the best of all worlds here. I feel like she is capable of handling any type of situation. Obviously, Andrade has a bit of an experience advantage, obviously. So this is kind of a perfect test, like Jackson said, to see what kind of prospect Natalia Silva is. Kind of a gatekeeping situation. I feel like if she takes this down, it'll only be like one more fight potentially before she gets a title shout. So this feels like an important point in her career to make a statement and kind of cement herself as one of the elite members of this division. And I think she gets it done with flying colors.
Hell yeah. And that is, we don't have it up on the screen. Maybe we'll have it up in post, but if you don't know or not,
I'll throw it on.
That is a banger of a prediction strike play. You're getting Natalia at $3 cheaper than Andrade. So.
All right. Moving forward, we've got the final fight here. Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. Walks through this one.
Me and Wells' boy, Sean Brady, linked up with him in Philly a couple months ago. Good guy.
His kick was soft.
Yeah, soft kicker. That should come into play against Gilbert Burns. But Burns just got finished by JDM. He honestly didn't even look bad in that fight before he ate the JDM knee. He is kind of a smaller guy. He's pretty good. Like an amazing BJJ practitioner. He doesn't just throw up wild scrambles. He's not really submitting people off his back. And I don't think he submits Sean here. Khamzat, if we're taking examples of Gilbert Burns, Khamzat might not necessarily be the guy that we thought he was originally. I will say, though, Sean Brady was outstruck and finished by Bilal standing up the whole fight, which is pretty damn embarrassing. But that has aged a little bit better, I think, because Bilal is now the welterweight champ. And I mean, Sean's going to come in here. He's going to come forward at Gilbert. He's going to throw bombs. He's going to shoot.
Beat your ass.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to shoot straight shots down the middle, real takedowns. He's very good at BJJ, and I don't think he's going to get sub tier. Is basically where I'm going with that. He's coming off a win over Kelvin Gastelum where he had 5 takedowns and the sub. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in Sean here. I am glad we saw him we're seeing him coming off that dominating win over Gastelum. I love Gilbert. I don't really see how he wins this though. I don't think he's much better at striking than Brady. Takedown defense isn't great at 38%. I don't really see why he would sub Sean here. So I like Brady, and we're getting great value for him.
Yeah, it's a fun wrestling matchup to watch. It's two guys that are very capable on the ground and handling themselves. Obviously, the Sean Brady lone loss in his UFC career to Bilal Muhammad is aging better and better. I think he's closer to that tier. I think Gilbert Burns is a perfect guy to kind of stand in the way to where Sean can prove himself to see which group he belongs with in this division. Burns, obviously a vet. He's fought everybody. Moved up and down weight classes as well, but has kind of proven that he can be an effective gatekeeper in this division, if not a contender. I mean, he had Kamaru Usman on the ropes for a little bit a few years ago, and I mean, he's certainly a guy that is very skilled and technical. So I think Sean Brady passes this test and then kind of moves into that top 4 or 5 ranking realm in this division and kind of cements himself as a guy who can work himself into a title shot eventually. So this feels like a good test, and I'm sure he'll be ready for a potential rematch with Bilal in the future down the road.
You know what? How many rounds is this thing supposed to go? Let's look at this real quick. Let's come up with a wild prediction for the
5
people.
rounds.
5-round banger.
Jackson, there's no odds for the other one because it was short notice. So we'll see about the decision thing in a bit.
Okay.
All right. Winning method. Let's see what they like the most via the markets. You know, I was kind of thinking that. I want to go with Sean Brady, 4th round knockout.
Oh,
That's a juicer.
I remember seeing the odds for Brady by sub were kind of crazy. I think just sub in general were plus 850, but I kind of like the knockout. I like the knockout idea.
They're both too comfortable on the ground, I feel like. I just don't know if.
Well, that's what I think. I think everybody's going to be like, they're going to go down. Like, they're going to go into, like, submission and everything, and that's what – but, like, you look at the market odds, Sean Brady has a lower takedown knockout odds than Gilbert Burns. Oh, which I think is kind of weird. Because when I look at them physically, like, I would think it would probably be more towards Gilbert, right?
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like Gilbert in real life, I know it says their heights are the same. I think Gilbert's smaller than that and is smaller than Brady. Like, if we were to see them standing next to each other.
See, and I would like imagine like Gilbert bigger than me, mentally.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like I don't know. I'm gonna go with that one. We're gonna make sure that's clipped so we can.
I think that's fun. Yeah, maybe early rounds.
Yeah. So
I do think Brady by decision as well has legs.
That's probably one of the sharper angles.
Yeah.
I like it. With that said, we hope that was helpful. Hopefully you found those insights somewhat helpful as well. We're recording this prior to Thursday Night Football, so watch out for Rashee Rice tonight. He's going to set the world on fire. But that's really about it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for doing this once again. Always find it helpful going through the portfolios and finding the best values. But until next time, make sure you guys subscribe. Say thank you to Jackson and Grant for always helping you out with your portfolios. Then, talk to you later. Peace now.
Go Ravens.